We got one go live.
Okay, what are we starting with? I don't have the list here.
Gather.
Gather, what page was that?
It's on your.
I got it. Okay. And you gotta
Let's see
tell
what's
me,
happening here.
I don't have a list here, so you gotta
That's
tell me
weird.
what
I
notes.
said, hello, everybody. Are we on?
Are we on?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
No, we're not.
Well, we need to get on because it's 8:02.
Yeah. Okay, I was on the wrong program.
You got feedback?
Yeah, that's. Here, we're on. Hello,
Hey.
everyone. I think it's working.
I hope
Dave
it's
Hall,
working.
hello, Dave. We're managing to split the screen here, and we think this is going to work. We hope so. Boy, we got a lot of pieces of paper, and my friend Rich Siegel is here to play the piano, and I need to check something. One more thing before we get this going, because we changed the level of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Maybe Emily or somebody could write in a comment if for any reason the guitar is too loud. But, I think we got it.
I hope so.
Welcome.
Let's go.
Welcome, everybody. I've had a bunch of requests to do this song again. I thought the joke, telling the joke once was enough, but I love these words that Pat LaManna wrote to my well-trod song. Gather in the spirit, put shelter in place. Let's do what we can to flatten the curve. Wash your hands often, but don't touch your face. This virus is something no one deserves. Gather on Skype, gather on Zoom, gather by phone with family and friends. Gather online, but don't leave your room. Let's all stay safe until this crisis ends. Stay in your homes, wash hard surfaces and phones, spray disinfectants and wipe it off twice. You can't eat a banana while wearing a bandana, but you might avoid bed rest with this sage advice. Gather on Skype, gather on Skype, gather on Zoom, gather on Zoom, gather by phone with family and friends. Gather online, but don't leave your room. Let's all stay safe until this crisis ends. Don't share your lip balm, no kissing your friends, not even fist bumps. Stay 6 feet apart. Don't reach out your hands, just reach out your heart. Keep social distance like someone made a, you know what. Gather on Skype, gather on Zoom, gather by phone with family and friends. Gather online, but don't leave your room. Let's all stay safe until this crisis ends. Well, this is the way the song would really go in the serious books. Let's do it here. Gather the spirit, harvest the power. Our separate fires will kindle one flame. Witness the mystery of this hour. Our trials in this life appear all the same. Gather in peace.
Gather in peace.
Gather in thanks.
Gather in thanks.
Gather in sympathy.
Gather in sympathy now and then.
Gather in hope.
Gather in hope, compassion and strength. Gather to celebrate once again.
Well, we are social distance in my living room.
Yeah, but we
Rich-
kissed earlier. Don't tell him.
Yeah. Well, Rich has come to visit, but we are staying. We're staying about 12 feet apart, and he's playing my Chickering grand piano over here, which we. I'm so delighted we've gotten it nice and fixed up, and he's making it sound better than I ever could. So.
It's a nice little piano.
Thanks. I had a list of songs, and we're going to find it right now because a semblance of organization would be really important. Yeah, well, we were going to play a blues to get going, but we didn't.
But we didn't.
But we didn't because we were fumbling with microphones and level and getting us signed on.
Well, now that you said it, you want to do it?
Okay.
Go ahead.
In what? In the key of one sharp G.
That's what you
But
said.
leave that sharp out because it's the blues.
Okay. Well, that was just like we rehearsed it, huh?
Anybody hurt? Oh, well, those are the changes that we learned long ago.
Yeah.
I love your song, One Truth, and we're going to get that.
Would you like to do that
next.
one?
Would you like to do
Let's
that?
do that. So we decided, Jim, that we were going to do a show on an anti-colonialist theme, or you decided and you invited me to
Yeah.
participate in that. And so I thought about, what I could contribute. And this song is a song about religious tolerance. And I don't think there are too many songs about religious tolerance. But I think,
you should write one.
well, I did. And I think,
Sorry, I'm fumbling with the screen here, but I'm listening.
we'll stop fumbling. We got an audience here.
Yeah.
So I think religious intolerance has been a big part of colonialism. Would you agree with that? I mean,
I think so. It's
Yeah.
one of the big reasons for colonial.
yeah.
or
Well, it's one of the big excuses
excuses.
for colonialism.
How
So
did we arrive at that word at the same moment?
yeah. So
Yeah.
well, because great minds think alike.
That's what it is.
So here it is: one truth's, many
Yeah,
paths.
let me. Let
one
me
truth, many paths.
Let me interrupt to say,
Yeah.
if I might. Thank you, everybody. I see this people writing comments, and it's the thing is a little far from me. I was trying to fumble for getting onto the screen here our PayPal.me and Venmo, and I will say that we much appreciate your donations that keep us going on these concerts. And I try to have a theme every week, and you can go to my website also, jimscottmusic.com, and there's a donations and custom payments button there. You can also shop. Would love it if you want to buy a songbook or a CD or something. But thank you for the donations. I'm somehow stuck as I've been fumbling on the screen to try to, I don't want to suddenly shut off the broadcast, but I can't seem to get over to where there's a button where I can light up the screen with this, with a little banner okay, I can't find it. But, wait, okay, he hit it, he got it. I'm gonna put this, at the bottom of the screen. Okay, so this is Rich Siegel.
You ready for my song now? Enough fumbling? Okay.
Enough fumbling. Wait a minute. Now I've got it's a big long piece of paper here. I gotta get.
It's got I gave Jim a
has
very
many,
long.
It has many paths
Yes.
across this whole thing. I'm sorry. I should have taken you seriously before. Religious. There are many paths. Yeah.
You let me know when I can start this.
I think you better start it.
You think I better okay.
I'm going to come back and
One truth, many
I'm gonna
paths.
Be missing for a second.
There's one truth, but many paths to God above. There's one truth, but many ways to claim His love. In a church or in a temple, in a mosque or in a shrine. There's one truth, but many paths. There's one truth, but many names for God on high. There's one truth, but many ways to call Him nigh. The Muslims call Him Allah, the Lakota say Great Spirit. There's one truth, but many names. In this world of ours, the ego takes the stage. Things get misunderstood. There are those who say they're right, that they have the only way. But standing in that judgment is the enemy of truth. For cultures are many, religions are many, paths are many, God is one. There's one truth, but many paths to God above. There's one truth, but many ways to claim His love. His love is the same for everyone, no matter what you call Him. There's one truth, and that one truth is God is one. In this world of ours, the ego takes the stage. Things get misunderstood. There are those who say that their God is dealing in real estate. But God does not play favorites. That's a sacrilege to truth. For cultures are many, religions are many, paths are many, God is one. There's one truth, but many paths to God above. There's one truth, but many ways to claim His love. His love is the same for everyone, no matter what you call Him. Dios, God, Allah, Hashem. There's one truth, and that one truth is God is one. There's one truth, and that one truth is God is one. Shema kol ha'olam, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Yay.
So you know the prayer at the end.
Some
Huh?
five pieces of paper off here.
Do it.
My unobtrusive pieces of paper. The prayer at the end.
The prayer at the end is the Shema, which is a Jewish prayer. It's kind of the central prayer to Judaism, but I changed it. Usually it's Shema Yisroel Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad, which means, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. So it's addressing just the Jewish people, and I changed it to Shema Kol Ha'olam Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad, which means, Hear, all the world, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. I took the tribalism out of it and made it universal, which is what I'd like to do to that religion I was raised in.
Maybe everyone was chosen.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
What you got, Jim?
Well, to talk about the reason we put this stuff together just a little bit. Don't want to say too much about this, but It's been a running joke for a while for me to say here in our beautiful little town of Shrewsbury, Massachusetts, the high school name is the Colonials. Now, there's other schools named the Colonials. One significant one is George Washington University. And I think, do you ever hear colonialism in a good light? You know, I just heard a wonderful sage on the radio the other day talking about that religion and prayer. This was on NPR. He said, well, religion is colonized and co-opted, meaning that we can use it for all kinds of other purposes and we can exploit it rather than prophetic something. So he was talking about prophetic voices, and I think that's it. Speaking of, and he was speaking of the, I've lost her name, the poet, our American poet laureate who just spoke at the inauguration. Prophetic voices, or faith and hope and work for justice and work for all that kind of thing, rather than taking religion as the reason why. Oh, let's bring religion to the savages, and by the way, take their oil, their land, their gold, their everything like that.
Well, listen, as long as you brought up colonialism, tell the audience what your daughter did.
Well, yeah, I thought I'd gently say that my daughter Louisa, I'm so proud of her.
Me too, and she's not even my kid. She's great.
Was listening. Well, they're all our kids, aren't they? I hope so. That's my philosophy. That she was apparently listening to me, and in the midst of other political demonstrations and things that she got involved in this past summer with the murder of George Floyd and so on, and Black Lives Matter and all that, she extended it. She said she found herself saying the word colonialism and realized, oh yeah, that's our school name. So the next day, somewhere, she said, Dad, I started a petition, and there's 700, 800 signatures to change the name of the school. Well, then a whole lot of people got mad. Oh, you're messing with our tradition and our heritage, and she was really attacked for that. And I won't go into that because I don't want to just, but I mean, I think that was really out of line. But that's not just a play for some sympathy or something. That she went through some stuff, but came back stronger, I think, to say, we got to do this. She and 4 other friends, 5 young women, all juniors in the high school, presented to the school committee recently. Another school nearby, Acton Boxborough School, has changed their name Colonials already. And Western Connecticut College is another one that's Colonials. They're dealing with changing the name. And I'm so proud. Louisa got to talk with, well, I kind of lined it up, but let me make sure to take credit too. Louisa talked with Amy Martin, who's led the campaign in George Washington University. So that's a big deal, George Washington University. So she has Fox News attacking her. So that made Louisa feel a little better with all this. But really, I don't want to insult anyone who says the colonials. I'm proud of it. I was a colonial. There's people that have said I graduated in the 70s or whatever. That yes, okay, it's meant a lot. My high school was the Rams. I don't think that's really, affected my life ever since, but I understand that it can be something you're proud of. But maybe what we're really proud of is the school, right? That the school was wonderful. And here, I just looked this up on Wikipedia. Colonialism, I didn't just look it up, I looked it up months ago. Colonialism is the policy of a country seeking to extend or retain its authority over other people or territories, generally with the aim of economic dominance. In the process of colonization, colonizers may impose their religion, I think we were just talking about that, their language, their economics, and other cultural practices on indigenous people. The foreign administrators rule the territory in pursuit of their interests, seeking to exploit the colonized region's people and resources. Ha! Well, if that's not enough right there, there are people like young women that are my daughter's friends who say, I'm from a country, from India, from China, from, how about Puerto Rico? I mean, that's America, but still,
It's Puerto
we
Rico.
would use perhaps the label colonization with places like that. And so when a young woman says, well, this hurts me, and then people say, no, it doesn't. I mean, is that the answer?
No.
Or, well, it doesn't affect me. Well, I have to say, well, that's because it doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect us white males because of my privilege and my, I've done pretty well with colonialism, and I don't want to do so well with colonialism. My dad and Louisa's grandfather was born in Sri Lanka, actually. A little colonial empire stuff going on there, and he was educated in southern India. So I just heard on the radio recently about Sri Lanka. The wounds of colonialism have left bitter divisions.
Oh, absolutely.
Here's another one, a Denver school. This was, I listen to NPR all the time, forgive me. The least affluent school in the whole school system of Denver. They recommissioned a couple of abandoned buildings for recreation and for extra educational opportunities. I think they had computers and extra tutoring and so on. Now the buildings are being taken for a high-end office complex. Looks like colonization to me, said the school principal. And now, my friend Nellie Medina, hi Nellie if you're listening, she's a Latina activist here, studying to be a lawyer in Worcester, and look out for her. She calls some of the forces that she's trying to educate, she said, they're pilgrims. I said, wow, pilgrims. I grew up near Plymouth, and I hadn't gotten to the point of using pilgrims as a derogatory term. But she said, well, they come in here and presume to take our stuff because they can't see our humanity. So I think there's a problem. There's the problem. Us white people of privilege don't realize that people of color use these words, colonialism, colonization, to mean something not 250 years in the past. And in fact, totally erroneously in our town, the guy is a white male in a three-cornered hat. Well, that didn't happen until the American Revolution. So the three-cornered hat is a mistake in the first place. That would be a patriot or the Minutemen or something fighting against colonialism. So there it is. I think it's time for us to do another song.
I think you're right. What do you got?
Before I get talking too much. But, I look at all this with a sort of a sense of humor about it because I'm privileged enough to not be carrying the wounds about it. But there are people who are really upset about this. And let me just say, there's going to be a democratic process. If it gets voted down, it gets voted down, but it just might come back next year. So let's do my song Immigrants, if we might. I wrote this song because, immigration in this last administration we've just had, we've been told how dangerous it is, how much of a threat it is, crime. Yeah, my Native American friends agree. The last 500 years have been nothing but trouble. So I'll start here. 3, 4. We are but immigrants, refugees from ports unknown. Seeds we sow with dreams and hope will not ever be our own. Our children's paths, not ours, but adventures theirs alone. We are wanderers and seekers for the passage safely home. Of salt and water born, of one ocean we are made, gifts of love from fertile soil, so is life's foundation laid. Find rest and refuge here, though our wandering never done. We are wanderers and seekers for the passage safely home. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me, for those yearning to breathe free, refuse of your teeming shore. Send the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. And let me thank Emily is in the background, invisible. Emily is actually not even here. Rich and I are in the same room, where I've done at least another program with a guest where we made videos and played together. We can play together because we're only 12 feet apart, but
I think we're actually about 5.5 feet apart. I think we're cheating.
No, that's okay. 10.2 something. Yeah. Well, we can hear each other.
Yeah.
You know, about as good as being on a huge stage and all that. But Emily, thank you. That was so we put those visuals together for that song, and I think it's time. Is it okay if we talked about this colonization already? But here's another take. And so I'll do my 2 songs, then you do your 2 songs.
You're the boss, Jim.
You want to object?
No.
File. See, now that's the colonialism right there. We use process to stifle dissent. So I'm gonna. So I wrote a song, and I'm sorry we are not able to play it really because Rich could play it because I wrote it down and he could play anything, but I'm sorry I can't play it. I'm gonna sometime soon. I recorded it 20 years ago. The song's called Pioneers. Pioneers, weren't they great? Yes.
Not necessarily. And Jim, you're introducing a song that you're not going to play?
Yeah, but
introduce one that you're going to play.
But I'm going to read the. I'm going to read. I'm going to read the words. I think the words are pretty good. I wrote the words in 1995.
Do
actually. I was only about 4'2" at that point. Yeah. So Pioneers, weren't they fantastic? Oh yeah, that was somebody else's land. It's interesting when you see like Lewis and Clark going across the country, but there's a Native American pointing the way for them at the time. So Dick Gregory says, the discovery of America. Yeah, it's like I discover your car in the parking lot. I like that. So in my song, well, I'm going to paraphrase it after I read it, but here's the poem. Pioneers, making their way in a hostile land, aliens keen to learn, waiting for the tide to turn, and more of us will come. Fortunate few trade the old life for the new, fountains of youth, mountains of wealth, freedom to speak and live for yourself, opportunity wide as the sky. Gonna get my piece of the pie, and more of us will come. From the Rock in Massachusetts Bay, following the Mohawk Trail, Niagara and the Buffalo, hungry eyes and faces pale. Western Reserve, farmers and miners, Lewis and Clark and the 49ers, Golden Spike, Trail of Tears, legacy of the manifest years, pioneers, making our way in a hostile land, aliens keen to learn, waiting for the tide to turn, and more of us will come. From the Golan through the Promised Land, settlers will make our stand, surviving centuries of scorn. Now the desert blooms and is reborn. Protect our own with vigilant disdain. They were nomads, they had no claim. Never again, it's our God-given right. But hate is thrown in bricks and stones that turn to rockets in the night. Pioneers, making our way in a hostile land. Aliens keen to learn, waiting for the tide to turn, and more of us will come. Up from Oaxaca, cross the Rio Grande, over parched hills in darkness, through checkpoints undermanned. Swim from Tijuana, lose yourself in the crowd, jump from the truck, guest workers stayed longer than allowed. Pioneers, elude the immigration in a hostile land. Aliens keen to learn, waiting for the tide to turn, and more of us will come. From famine and war to peace and good health, freedom to stand up, keep some for yourself. Pioneers, and more of us will come, and more of us will come. So, you know what, after you start free associating, you could add verse after verse to that. I started thinking, well, how about molecular, the COVID virus or something?
Well, I think we are being, you and I are not necessarily on the same page, but I think we're being colonized and we're facing medical tyranny.
We're
being colonized by fear.
The world has, the earth has cancer. The earth has AIDS. We're being colonized by forces, and you get into that stuff that is too small for you even to see, not molecular but one-celled animals and stuff, and they're all eating each other and like doing stuff that, so a little mite on the back of a bee does something to something else and like changes everything. So yeah, it's the way of the world. I wrote another story about these. I lived in the Northwest. It was about blackberries. They are this invasive force. It's this root underground that's just everywhere, and it's gonna, this Medusa cult will rise up, and for somebody new to the Northwest, you say, "Wow, blackberries everywhere." And people, oh, yeah, they just take over and smother everything else. So maybe that's the way of nature, but I think that I thought humans were evolving away from, like total survival of the fittest. Like we have some different priorities.
Well, let's say we're capable of more than we're manifesting at this point.
Yeah. I thought, we developed language so we could remember stuff. We could name stuff. We got libraries so we can remember stuff. We got computer software. So anyway, it was obvious enough in my song, I guess. Here, pioneers, the first part about North America. Then pioneers, the settlers who were, being run out of everywhere else, maybe, and persecuted and genocide and all of that. And then, here, we'll give you some land. But other people live there.
Palestine, specifically.
Yes, I'm speaking of Palestine.
Yeah.
And then the last part, up from Oaxaca over the, but they don't have any power. Well,
still aliens, in pioneers in a hostile land. It was a hostile land when the Pilgrims crash landed here in 1620. It was only the epidemic of 1618 and 19 that wiped out the Indians, so that Governor Bradford could say, "The Lord has opened the way for us to to land here and live in the uninhabited native dwellings over the winter." I always wondered how they survived that first winter. I grew up near there. I never heard the truth for decades, So that's more than an oversight about our history that we get taught
Would you
in
call
school.
it a deliberate omission?
I think women's history, black history, African American history, labor history, gay and lesbian history,
Native American history.
Native American history. Yeah, we've just conveniently that's all for some kind of special day or something. So maybe I don't know what we have to do to get to the true history. I hope it's not that we have to win a whole lot of battles. We got to win a lot of hearts to get to a point where we really celebrate everybody. And so I'll just say in our school here, we hope that we're empowering everyone, not just certain people. And it's amazing the arguments, to separate colonial. Oh, those were people from 250 years ago, and they were good people. Well, yeah, I think you could probably point to Nazi Germany and say they were some good people if you look hard enough wherever they were, but they were participating. That's the worst example. I could have brought up something less.
Well, didn't
extreme
Donald
than
Trump
that.
say that there were good people on both sides
Yeah.
of the Charlottesville incident? So he was
but
pointing
wait
at
a
white
minute, now
supremacists.
But now you're obscuring my point. Yes, of course. Yeah.
Talk,
They were-
Jim. I won't
they-
interfere.
they
Go
were,
ahead.
They were good people just trying to grow some carrots or something, but and a lot of wastrels of England and of Europe are the ones that got sent here. Here's your chance. Go get some land that we stole from somebody, and stop bothering us here. And you can leave debtor's prison if you go run go grow stuff or cut down trees or kill animals for fur for the Massachusetts Bay Colony. And we'll send slaves, and we'll send spices, and we'll take your. That's what it is. So okay, there's my point. Now I think we better lighten up from here. And no, we're gonna get a very. I set up your song. I was hoping I was setting up your song.
You want to
wanna
lighten
say
up
any more
instead
about,
first? You want me to
which
go?
one? You decide. Do you want to do? So.
I think we need some rhythm. Let's do The Way to Peace.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is an original of mine, and it's based on the familiar quote from A.J. Muste, the Dutch
Yeah.
pacifist.
Wow.
There is no way to peace. The way to peace is peace.
Yeah.
Shall we?
And at a different time, I think maybe he said, "There is no way to peace, but peace is the way." And
You know what?
that
That was the correct quote.
Oh, well, okay.
You corrected me, and I appreciate
you
it.
made it poetry in the song. I'll say one more piece about that peace thing. In my Unitarian Universalist heritage, or wait a minute, I don't mean heritage. In my, in the faith of all of this, we have 7 principles. The 6th one being the goal of peace. It doesn't. I've wanted to amend that, or maybe make an 8th or 9th principle. The way of peace.
That's it.
Couldn't we resolve that we would endeavor to resolve our differences in nonviolent means or something? I don't suppose we're all going to become pacifists, but okay, I talk too much. And here's a beautiful song.
peace is peace. It's not deception, it's not invasion, it's not lies. The way to peace is peace. So sad to see a family's grief, hear a widow's cries. The way to peace is peace. We are not safer for toppling statues, for dropping bombs. The way to peace is peace. The only peace, the peace that heals, the peace that calms. The way to peace is to live and let live. It's to be and to simply let be. The way to peace is to dwell in that knowledge, for it is the truth that will set us free. The way to peace is peace. It's not imposing our will on others for our own gain. The way to peace is peace. So let's end the violence and the suffering and the pain. Go ahead, Jim. Clean air, it's fair trade and real freedoms for all. The way to peace is to worship in our way, while others may follow a different call. The way to peace is peace. It isn't war, even if loudly they proclaim that peace will be achieved through war. It isn't true, it can't be done. For this we know, the way is peace in God's name. The way to peace is peace.
I think the same with Gather the Spirit. I think they would call it a jazz waltz, like put a swing feel to 3-4 times.
I'd call that a gospel waltz.
Gospel waltz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jazz waltz is a bit of a
Well,
different
no,
feel.
I was saying, yeah, that's much gospel.
Hey man,
waltz
I
is
wrote
better.
it. I'll call it.
I was going to say it's not it falls short of description somehow, jazz waltz, but the swinging 3/4.
Oh, is that what I wrote on the chart?
Swing? No.
Oh,
I made it up.
okay.
Oh no, you wrote in little letters, gospel 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I knew what I wanted.
Well, let's get serious here.
Yeah.
Your song really is why this is the song that I invited Rich to join me on and talk about colonialism because of this. You want to say any more about colonialism?
Well, let me just talk about
Yeah.
why I wrote this song and who I am and what today is. And I don't know if you're even aware of this because we didn't discuss it, but today is Holocaust Remembrance
Oh
Day.
yes, yeah, absolutely.
And I think that something is really missing in remembering the Holocaust and in Holocaust studies and Holocaust museums and Holocaust memorials, and that is that The survivors of the Holocaust went to Palestine and committed another Holocaust, and they're still committing it today. And these are my people. I was raised Jewish and Zionist, and of course, I've since rethought all of that. But I want to quote another Jewish gentleman who has rethought Zionism, and that's the late British MP Gerald Kaufman. He says, and I quote, "My grandmother was ill in bed when the Nazis came to her hometown. A German, excuse me, let me start that again. I want to get it right. My grandmother was ill in bed when the Nazis came to her hometown. A German soldier shot her dead in her bed. My grandmother did not die to provide cover for Israeli soldiers murdering Palestinian grandmothers in Gaza." And God bless the memory of Gerald Kaufman for saying that. I actually was in touch with Gerald Kaufman a few years ago, and I sent him a copy of the video with this song, and he appreciated it, and I feel really blessed that I was able to share it with him. So the name of this song is In Palestine. I wrote the music, and I wrote the lyric with Dave Littman, who wrote really the lion's share of the lyric. And he's another Jewish gentleman who has rethought Zionism. So basically, I was raised deep in Zionism, and I was a teenage Zionist youth group president, and in my 20s I went to Israel, and I put Israel in quotes. I consider it occupied Palestine. I don't call it Israel anymore. But I went there and I worked there. I was the house pianist in a luxury hotel there, and after a while I left, and I left really because I had a better job offer back here in the States. But I almost became Israeli, and I'm really glad that I didn't. I think if I had remained, I might have continued the brainwashing process that was started in my youth. But really, into my middle age, I just discovered that I had been lied to all my life. I mean, I had been told that we Jews went there wanting to be friendly neighbors, and the Arabs just hate us for no reason, just like everybody hates Jews for no reason. And this is the sickness, I'll say it, that I was raised with. It's a lie, and I'm a cult survivor, and that's how I feel about it. I'm not going to mince words. So really, pretty late in life, I came to understand the big lie of Zionism, and became an activist for Palestine. And this song grew out of my passion to just express what I've learned. And the lyric of this song consists of a conversation between two Jews, one who is realizing that there's a problem and the other who is stuck in the problem. And it's called In Palestine. You tell me all peoples need land of their own, all the others have theirs, why not leave us alone? We bought it, we brought it to bloom in the sun, it's ours, always was. We won't let them take back our homes and our trees. We won't have them driving us into the seas. That's why we are forcing them down on their knees. But the children are dying in Palestine. You tell me of centuries caught in despair, pogroms, persecutions, and final solutions. The need of a homeland, safety for Jews. I hear you. You tell me of hatred, of fear and attack, of enemies everywhere, we must fight back. The border towns under the gun, but 100 to 1. The children are dying in Palestine. You say there can never be peace, till their outrages cease. Of course, they say the same. You say it's not true that we forced them to leave, that Jews would do that, you just cannot believe. The Arabs are treacherous, born to deceive. They hate us. Well, it's true we've been hated, but when we arrive and take over their country in the name of our survival, is it any wonder that peace cannot thrive while the children are dying in Palestine? I'm told every state has its Jews. Even Jews have their Jews. They've been there all along. You say we must search for some moderate way. We must find a middle ground to save the day. We shouldn't have settlements. They shouldn't prey on our nation. But where is the middle and where the extremes? We've settled their farmlands and stolen their streams. Our generous offers are not what they seem, and the children are dying in Palestine. We're trapped in this horror, it won't go away. We've conquered, but conquering won't win the day. We inspire their hatred, we watch in dismay. It's madness. Suppose we did take their land, planned it all along. Can we look at ourselves and admit we've done wrong? Can we all live together? Can we all belong? Can we stop all this killing in Palestine? Please God, no more children dying in Palestine. In Palestine.
Well, all I can say is wow.
Well, thank you, Jim. And thank you, everybody listening.
Yeah, thanks everyone listening. It's almost as we getting so heavy here, almost to put a commercial in almost seems like makes us suspect or something. But we do appreciate your donations. That down at the bottom there, PayPal me /Jim Scott Music and Venmo. I'm James there for some reason. I keep thinking I'll get that figured out because I'm usually only James when I'm in trouble.
Well, you know what? Venmo gave me Richard, too.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I mean, I think it's just what they do.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
But I'm not on there. Pay Jim or James.
well, we'll divide up the loot.
Thank you.
Well, what strikes me that just goes by, not heavily featured. Can we admit that we're wrong? Can we admit we've done wrong? And so much has been said about this last thing we've been through for 4 years here, the unnameable. That never admit you're wrong.
Of course.
In politics, not just this one guy who just retired, but it's just a thing.
Right.
You don't admit you're wrong, and to be held accountable makes you feel attacked. Of course. So they attacked us. All good reason to start another war. So looking for that peace is a hard job, And don't get discouraged, everybody out there. We're here. We're here for each other. That's what I think. And we got a little song here to wish you well.
You have to wait for me to get it up. Wait a second. Excuse me,
There's
folks.
drugs for that. No, there's a page. There's a page. There's a page in the book. Don't get two musicians together. The humor will get dark before you know it.
Or it'll get stupid. Go ahead.
Yeah. I took this Russian round. I end all my concerts with this, but I've said this before. I took this Russian little song. It's a round, just 16 bars or 32 bars, depending on how you write it out, and 4 phrases that turn into a round. It doesn't sound very Russian by the time we get done with it.
It sounds more Brazilian.
And it somehow went to Brazil.
But let me just tell the people here that, like, this is the song I'm nervous about because the timing is kind of funny and we're not very well rehearsed.
We're going
so
to rehearse right now.
So wish me luck, everybody.
Well, he's amazing. Rich can read all those little things on the pieces of paper. So,
that's the idea.
or think of something better is probably the way.
Well, thank you, Jim.
And,
You're pretty amazing yourself. This guy, I think, honestly, Jim Scott is probably one of the best living songwriters of our era.
oh man!
And I was listening
I'm
to
gonna
a
have
couple
to
of your
pay him
CDs
more
all the way.
now.
I drove up to Massachusetts from New Jersey to be here today, and I was listening to Jim's CDs, and I'm like, God, I know the guy who wrote this stuff. Really, just wonderful stuff.
Oh, thank you. Well,
So, yeah.
We've talked about this a lot before. We've both written a lot of stuff, created a lot of stuff, and the last thing on our minds has been promotion. Which is the way. Like,
Well,
why aren't you famous?
Isn't
Well,
somebody
because-
else supposed to do that for us?
I think
That's what I always thought.
Which is probably the big mistake we've made all along, waiting for somebody else.
I
to
don't
do it.
know.
So in my old age, I am spending a little more. And here, with this COVID challenge, here we are promoting ourselves on the airwaves,
Yep.
or whatever they are that we're doing here, the satellite. And so here, the song, this is the way it would sound in Russian. Наши жизни мы должны соткать из света звук, пропеть его в ночи, чтоб звезды слушали во сне и хоровод водили в тишине.
It's beautiful.
Isn't that nice?
It is.
Everybody! We'll just do one verse here and then just go to chorus and sing you out with this. We've kept you long tonight, and thank you, everybody who you might not have been prepared for as much lecture as we just felt like we had to give, but we've done a whole lot of songs too now.
Yep.
It's been a lot of fun, Rich. Thanks.
Hey, I had a lot of fun too. Thanks for inviting me, Jim. And thanks everybody for listening. We need to do it again. Yeah.
Somehow we go from this C minor.
I'm
to
waiting for you to get there,
F7.
Jim. Go ahead.
We suddenly go to the E minor. My wish for you, as now we part, is for greater peace to fill your heart with dreams as vast as starry space. So hurt and anger know no place. May truths be shared and wounds be healed, and joy for living be revealed. Through every fade and circumstance, may hope lead weary steps to dance, and may your life be as a song, resounding with
May
the
your
dawn,
life
to
be
sing
as
awake
a
the
song,
light,
resounding with the
softly
dawn, to sing away the light and softly serenade the stars, ever dancing circles in the night.
Let's play these chords a little bit.
And may
song, resounding with
May
the
your
dawn,
life
to
be
sing
as a
awake the
song,
light, then
resounding with the
softly
dawn, to sing awake the
stars,
light, and softly serenade the stars, ever dancing circles in the night.
as a song, resounding
And may
with the
your
dawn,
life
to
be as
sing
the
awake
song,
light,
resounding with the dawn, to sing awake the light, and softly serenade the stars, ever dancing circles in the night. Ever dancing circles in the night.
Oh, thank you, Rich. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for your donations. Love each other. Be well. We'll see you next week. Thanks and good night.